Welcome to Chasing Curiosity TV. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. Breaking news. Tensions have erupted once again in the volatile waters of the South China Sea, a region long marked by territorial disputes and power plays. The world's attention is riveted as the situation escalates to a new and dangerous level. At the heart of the crisis, a single Philippine Navy vessel finds itself encircled by a formidable force. 22 Chinese ships including Coast Guard and maritime militia at the contested Scarborough Shoal. The stark contrast in size and numbers is impossible to ignore. Despite being hopelessly outgunned and vastly outnumbered, the Philippine crew stands their ground. Their faces are set with determination, their resolve unbroken. Against overwhelming odds, they refuse to back down, embodying the spirit of defiance and national pride. The Chinese response is unmistakable. Coast Guard, militia, and naval support ships form an imposing blockade, a wall of steel and willpower. Their message is clear and unmistakable. These waters, they claim, belong to China, and they are prepared to enforce that claim with force if necessary. Tension crackles through the airwaves. Radio channels are alive with urgent warnings, coded messages, and calls for backup. Every word, every static-laced transmission could mean the difference between peace and open conflict. The Filipino crew remains vigilant, scanning the horizon for any sign of escalation. Their mission is not just to defend their ship, but to protect the livelihoods of Filipino fishermen who depend on these waters. They stand as guardians of their nation's rights and their people's future. This confrontation is about far more than a patch of sea. It is a test of national will, the rule of international law, and the strength of alliances. In diplomatic backrooms, world leaders and negotiators scramble to prevent the standoff from spiraling out of control. China's so-called cabbage strategy is on full display, layer upon layer of ships, squeezing out rivals, tightening their grip on disputed territory. It's a slow, relentless pressure designed to force opponents to yield without a shot being fired. Around the globe, journalists and analysts monitor the unfolding drama, aware that this David and Goliath encounter could set a precedent for future conflicts. The world is watching, holding its breath, as the balance of power in the region hangs in the balance. The stakes could not be higher. Sovereignty, national pride, and the very future of the international order are all on the line. What happens next will echo far beyond these contested waters, shaping the destiny of nations for years to come. The BRP Andres Bonifacio was on a routine patrol, until it wasn't. As it neared Scarborough Shoal, Chinese Coast Guard and militia ships closed in, boxing the Philippine vessel in a tight cordon. Aggressive maneuvers followed. Chinese ships crisscrossed dangerously close, water cannons fired warning blasts. Radio warnings demanded the Filipinos leave. The captain calmly asserted their right to patrol Philippine waters. The crew documented every move, evidence for diplomatic protests to come. This was a battle of nerves, not firepower. The standoff lasted hours, broadcast to the world via satellite and social media. China's message, "We set the rules here." The Philippines' response, "We will not yield." The BRP Andres Bonifacio became a symbol of resistance. The world watched, waiting to see who would blink first. Scarborough Shoal is at the heart of a tangled South China Sea dispute. The Philippines claims it under UNCLOS as it lies well within its 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone. China, meanwhile, points to ancient history and its sweeping 10-dash line, claiming nearly the entire sea. In 2016, an international tribunal sided with the Philippines, invalidating China's historic claims. China dismissed the ruling, calling it waste paper, and ramped up its activities, building islands, militarizing outposts, and intensifying patrols. The result, a standoff between international law and raw power. The Philippines is left defending its rights against a neighbor determined to enforce its will. The legal victory remains unenforced, the dispute unresolved. Scarborough Shoal is now a flashpoint where law meets force. The Philippines responds with a blend of protest, diplomacy, and alliances. Manila files relentless diplomatic protests, ensuring its objections are on record. President Marcos Jr. declares, "We will not yield an inch of our territory." The government publicizes Chinese aggression, exposing Beijing's actions to the world. The U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty is revitalized, with expanded military cooperation and new U.S. access to bases near the South China Sea. This alliance signals that any attack could trigger a U.S. response. Manila also strengthens ties with Japan and Australia, conducting joint drills and building a united front. Trilateral and quadrilateral dialogues grow more frequent, reinforcing regional solidarity. The Philippines counters China's might with law, public opinion, and powerful friends. If it can't match ships, it will match alliances. The world reacts swiftly to the Scarborough Shoal standoff, a situation that has captured global attention and sparked widespread concern. As tensions rise, nations across the globe are closely monitoring the developments, understanding the potential implications for international stability and security. The U.S. reaffirms its defense commitment to the Philippines, warning Beijing against aggression. This move underscores the long-standing alliance between the two nations and highlights the strategic importance of the region. The U.S. presence in the Pacific is a clear signal of its intent to maintain peace and stability. Japan and Australia condemn China's actions, supporting the 2016 arbitral ruling and a rules-based order. Their unified stance reflects a broader regional consensus on the need to uphold international law and ensure that no single nation can unilaterally alter the status quo. The EU calls for de-escalation and respect for international law, emphasizing freedom of navigation. This appeal is a reminder of the interconnectedness of global trade routes and the necessity of keeping them open and secure for all nations. Even the UK and Canada voice support for Manila and a free Indo-Pacific. Their involvement highlights the global nature of the issue, as countries far from the region recognize the potential ripple effects of unchecked aggression. This chorus of support isolates China diplomatically and legitimizes the Philippines' stance. The international community's response is a testament to the power of collective action in the face of unilateral moves. For years, nations hesitated to confront Beijing. Now, China's assertiveness has changed the calculus. The shift in approach marks a significant moment in international relations, as countries reassess their strategies in dealing with a rising power. The Scarborough Shoal crisis is seen as a test of the international system, not just a bilateral spat. It challenges the principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity, prompting a re-evaluation of how such disputes are managed on the world stage. The world is drawing a line. Scarborough Shoal is where it's being defended. This line is not just geographical but symbolic, representing a commitment to uphold international norms and prevent further escalation. The stakes are global, not just regional. The outcome of this standoff could set a precedent for future conflicts, influencing how nations navigate the complex web of international relations and power dynamics. In 2023, China unveiled a new map featuring a bold 10-dash line, a dramatic escalation in its ongoing maritime dispute with its neighbors. This new cartographic move is not just a simple update, it's a clear signal of Beijing's growing ambitions in the region. The map lays claim to nearly the entire South China Sea, sweeping across waters that international law recognizes as belonging to the exclusive economic zones, or EEZs, of the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and others. These are areas rich in resources, vital for fishing, shipping, and potential energy reserves. Released without any credible legal justification, the map is less about law and more about projecting power. It's a declaration of intent, a way for China to assert its dominance and challenge the existing international order. This new map emboldens Chinese maritime forces, giving them a perceived mandate to act aggressively far from their own shores. Patrols and confrontations have increased, as Chinese vessels push deeper into contested waters, often clashing with neighboring countries' ships. For Beijing, the 10-dash line is more than just ink on paper. It's an operational blueprint. Military planners use it to justify deployments, plan patrols, and turn these sweeping claims into a reality enforced by ships and aircraft. For China's neighbors, the map is a diplomatic dead end. It undermines good faith negotiations, turning every meeting into a tense standoff over sovereignty, and making compromise nearly impossible. The 10-dash line openly rejects the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, and ignores the 2016 International Tribunal ruling that invalidated China's sweeping claims. This defiance makes meaningful negotiation and legal resolution almost unattainable. China's cartographic aggression is matched by its actions on the water. Confrontations with foreign fishing boats, standoffs with rival coast guards, and constant patrols have become the new normal in these contested seas. Ultimately, the 10-dash line is more than a map, it's a warning to the world. China intends to dominate the South China Sea, one confrontation at a time, reshaping the balance of power in Asia and beyond. Behind the headlines, Filipino fishermen pay the price. Scarborough Shoal has fed generations, but now, Chinese ships drive locals away with intimidation and water cannons. Many fishermen return empty-handed or not at all, their livelihoods shattered. The economic toll ripples through coastal communities and the national economy. The South China Sea's rich resources, fish, oil, gas, are now out of reach for many Filipinos. The government's legal victory is ignored, fueling frustration and anger. Fishermen become symbols of national struggle, their stories rallying public support. The conflict is no longer abstract, it's a daily hardship for thousands. The human cost is a powerful motivator for Manila's resolve. The fight for Scarborough Shoal is also a fight for survival. Today's standoff echoes the 2012 Scarborough Shoal crisis. Back then, a Philippine ship tried to arrest Chinese fishermen. China intervened, sparking a tense standoff. The US brokered a mutual withdrawal, Manila complied, Beijing did not. China has controlled the shoal ever since, blocking Filipino fishermen. The 2012 betrayal pushed the Philippines to seek legal victory at The Hague. The 2016 arbitral award was born from that lesson. Now, Manila faces China with stronger alliances and assertive transparency. The memory of 2012 fuels today's resolve, never again yield without verification. The BRP Andres Bonifacio stands its ground, refusing to blink first. Scarborough Shoal is more than a regional flashpoint, it's a test for the world. The South China Sea is a vital artery for global trade. Instability here threatens everyone. At stake is freedom of navigation, a principle enshrined in UNCLOS. China's actions challenge the rules-based order that has kept the seas open for decades. If might makes right here, other powers may follow suit elsewhere. The confrontation is about whether law and diplomacy can stand up to force. The answer will shape the Indo-Pacific and the world for years to come. The world is watching Scarborough Shoal, knowing what happens here won't stay here. The future of the international order is being written, one standoff at a time.